Beijing, as the capital of China, occupies a pivotal position in politics, economy, culture, and other fields. It is the largest city in the north with a long history and splendid culture. Since the Yuan Dynasty, Beijing has become the political center of the country. After the glory of the Ming and Qing dynasties, it is now a modern international metropolis. The permanent population of Beijing has exceeded 21 million, making it one of the most populous cities in China. Beijing has hosted major international events such as the 2008 Olympic Games and the 2022 Olympic Winter Games, showcasing China's strength and charm to the world. When the afterglow of the setting sun falls on the eaves of the Bell and Drum Tower, we seem to have traveled back to ancient times. From the capital of the Yuan Dynasty to today's modern city, what changes has Beijing experienced? What is the current appearance of the former imperial city? In this video, let's explore the secrets of this millennium's ancient capital, Beijing. Beijing is located in the northern part of the North China Plain, adjacent to Tianjin to the east and Hebei to the west. As China's transportation hub, Beijing has a well-developed railway, highway, and aviation network. Beijing Capital International Airport is one of the busiest airports in the world, with thousands of flights taking off and landing every day. Railway passenger stations, such as Beijing West Railway Station and Beijing South Railway Station, are also important transportation hubs in China, connecting all parts of the country. In addition, Beijing also has rich natural resources, with mountains such as Xishan and Yinshan surrounding the city, adding natural beauty to Beijing. The place names of Beijing can be traced back to the Zhou dynasty more than 3,000 years ago, when Beijing was called Ji. With the changes of history, Beijing has been successively called Yanjing, Zhuojian, Yuzhou, Nanjing, Zhongdu, Didu, Beiping, Beijing, etc. Among them, Dadu in the Yuan dynasty and Beijing in the Ming and Qing dynasties were the most glorious periods in Beijing's history. In the Yuan dynasty, Kublai Khan ordered the construction of the Dada city, which became the political center of the country for the first time in history. During the Ming dynasty, Zhu Di moved the capital to Beijing and carried out large-scale expansion and transformation of the city, making Beijing one of the largest cities in the world. During the Qing dynasty, Beijing continued to maintain prosperity and glory as the political center of the country. Today, as the capital of China, Beijing still plays an important role in the country's development. In addition to major international events held in modern times, Beijing also has many historical sites and cultural attractions, such as the Forbidden City, the Great Wall, the Summer Palace, etc., which are important symbols of Beijing's history and culture. The urban core of Beijing is the Central Axis, which runs through the north and south of Beijing and is the soul of Beijing. The Central Axis passes through important scenic spots such as Yangdingmen, Xingyangmen, Tiananmen, the Forbidden City, Jingshan, and the Bell and Drum Tower from south to north, forming a magnificent urban landscape belt. The Central Axis is not only the geographical center of Beijing, but also the cultural center of Beijing. On the Central Axis, we can feel the historical and cultural heritage of Beijing, as well as appreciate the modern style of Beijing. As the first ray of morning sunlight falls on Tiananmen Square, we head south along Chang'an Avenue and enter the heart of the city. From the Li Jingmen in the Yuan Dynasty to today's Tiananmen Square, it has witnessed the vicissitudes of Beijing. As one of the largest urban squares in the world, Tiananmen Square can accommodate 1 million people and has witnessed countless major historical events. In the center of the square stands a monument to the people's heroes, and to the south is the Chairperson Mao Memorial Hall. The National Museum and the Great Hall of the People are located on both sides. It is a spiritual symbol of the Chinese people and one of Beijing's iconic attractions. If Tiananmen Square is the gateway to Beijing, then the Forbidden City is the soul of Beijing. As the royal palace of the Ming and Qing dynasties in China, the Forbidden City carries hundreds of years of history and culture. From the red walls and yellow tiles to the palace buildings, every detail speaks of the royal majesty and luxury. Walking among the palaces in the Forbidden City, it feels like traveling back to ancient times and feeling the strong historical atmosphere. Leaving the Forbidden City, we arrived at Beihai Park. The lake here is rippling with blue waves, and the weeping willows on the shore are like a beautiful painting. From the Royal Garden to the Citizen Park, Beihai Park has witnessed the changes and development of Beijing. Here, we can appreciate the architectural art of ancient royal gardens and feel the vitality of modern citizens. When we stroll by the lake in Beihai Park, we may ask, where does the time in Beijing come from? The answer lies not far away in the Bell and Drum Tower. As a landmark building of the ancient capital Beijing, the Bell and Drum Tower always plays drums and rings bells to announce the time. In ancient times, people's livelihood and labor were measured by the sound of bells and drums. Nowadays, the Bell and Drum Tower no longer announces the time, but only serves as a scenic spot, witnessing the history of Beijing. Climbing the Drum Tower, overlooking the surrounding alleys and courtyards, and feeling the ancient capital style. On sunny days, you can also look at the center of the central axis, Jingshan Wanshun Pavilion, and travel back to the ancient emperor's state of mind of climbing high and looking into the distance. Starting from the Bell and Drum Tower, we walked along the lakeside of Shikahai. Shikahai is a historical district including three waters, Qianhai, Hohai, and Shihai, as well as surrounding historical buildings. From Jishuiten in the Yuan Dynasty to Shikahai today, it has witnessed Beijing's water transportation history and urban development. Today, Shikahai is still lively, with ice rinks in winter and cruise ships in summer. You can not only visit the former residences of celebrities to feel the cultural atmosphere, but also indulge in the evening breeze on the bar terrace of Hohai. On the west side of Shikahai is Prince Gong's mansion. This former mansion of corrupt official He Shun and Prince Gong Yisun has now become a cultural symbol of Beijing. From luxurious mansions to beautiful gardens, Prince Gong's mansion has witnessed the rise and fall of the Qing dynasty. Here, we can feel the wealth and luxury of the ancient royal family, as well as learn about the history and culture of the Qing dynasty. Leaving Prince Gong's mansion, we walked into Yandai Xiejia. This ancient commercial street, which is only over 200 meters long, seems like a time tunnel in Beijing. From the antique smoking street of the Qing dynasty to today's cultural street, Yandai Xiejia has witnessed the commercial changes and cultural heritage of Beijing. Here, we can taste authentic Beijing snacks, purchase exquisite handicrafts, and feel the local style of old Beijing. When we linger on Yandai Xiejia, we may also think of Nanluo Guxiang, not far away. As one of the oldest neighborhoods in Beijing, Nanluo Guxiang has a chessboard-style pattern, with Nanluo Guxiang as the main street and 8 alleys on the east and west sides. From the streets of the Yuan Dynasty to today's trendy place, Nanluo Guxiang has witnessed the historical changes and cultural integration of Beijing. Here, we can feel the collision of modernity and tradition, taste various delicacies, and purchase specialty products. After leaving Nanluo Guxiang, we arrived at Yonghe Temple. This Buddhist temple, which was built during the Kangxi period, has now become an important religious site in Beijing. From the royal palace to the Buddhist holy site, Yonghe Temple has witnessed Beijing's religious history and cultural heritage. Here, we can feel the solemnity and tranquility of Buddhism, as well as learn about Beijing's religious culture. Opposite the Yonghe Temple are the Confucian Temple and the Guozijia Museum. This left temple, right school, building witnesses the development of ancient Chinese education. From the sacred temple where Confucius was worshipped to the highest central institution of learning, the Confucian Temple and the Guozijia Museum carry the essence of ancient Chinese culture. Here, we can feel the rigor and solemnity of ancient education and also understand the profoundness of ancient Chinese culture. Beijing has a variety of outdoor activity venues, which can meet the needs of different people, whether it's mountain climbing, hiking, or cycling. Xiangshan Park is a good place for mountain climbing in Beijing in autumn. Every late autumn, the yellow cottonwood and red maple on Xiangshan change color one after another, and the mountains are intertwined with red, yellow, and green, with layers of forests and beautiful scenery. Beijing Botanical Garden is a good place for flower viewing and outing. Every year, a flower festival is held here, attracting visitors from all over the world. In addition, Beijing has many parks and green spaces, such as the Summer Palace and the Old Summer Palace, which are good places for citizens to relax and entertain. Beijing, as an ancient capital of the Six Dynasties, integrates the food culture of Manchu, Han, and Hui ethnic groups. There are both palace dishes and street delicacies such as snacks, braised dishes, and fried sauce noodles. Roast duck is a signature food in Beijing, divided into braised and hung roast duck. The sliced roast duck is served on the table, and the crispy duck skin is dipped in sugar, then rolled into a pancake for consumption. The oily duck meat is wrapped in greasy melon strips and scallions, leaving a lasting aftertaste. Restaurants such as CG Minfu and Shizhou are good places to taste roast duck. The old Beijing copper pot hot pot is characterized by copper pot charcoal fire, with clear soup as the base and sesame paste as the only dipping sauce. The authentic way to eat it is to first dip the lamb tail oil and then the lamb. Famous hot pot restaurants include Nyojia Halal Manhangi and Nanmen Hot Pork. Jiaozi grilled meat is a traditional way of grilling meat in Old Beijing. Beef or lamb is sliced thinly and grilled with fruit wood charcoal, making a sizzling sound. The Jiaozi grilled meat at restaurants such as Grilled Meat Season and Grilled Meat One is delicious. Zhajiangmian is the taste of Beijing people's mothers, with small bowls of dry-fried sauce mixed with various dishes, creating a fragrant aroma. Fangzhangchang No. 69 Zhajiangmian and other restaurants are deeply loved. After talking about food, it's necessary to talk about Beijing's nightlife. Whether it's bars, KTVs, or night markets, you can feel the vitality and charm of this city. Hohai is one of the most representative nightlife areas in Beijing, with numerous bars and restaurants. At night, Hohai is brightly lit and lively. Wangfujing is the commercial center of Beijing, with bright lights and bustling crowds at night, making it a great place for shopping and entertainment. Beijing, this ancient and modern city, is like a colorful painting. Every place exudes unique charm. Whether it is the solemnity of historical relics, the picturesque scenery of royal gardens, or the street style of hutongs, they all make people linger. Here, you can taste authentic Beijing cuisine, feel the strong cultural atmosphere, and enjoy comfortable accommodation in high-end characteristic hotels. Beijing is waiting for you to discover more of its beauty. That's all for this video. If you like it, remember to like, comment, bookmark, and share. This is the Global Travel Guide. See you next time.